Let's take a look at the manga that I picked up in December of 2022. Stay tuned. I did not misspeak. I know that it's February, but we are taking a look at my December manga haul. I will have January out soon after this. I'm just waiting on one more package to arrive that I purchased in January. It should be here in the next few days. But in the meantime, I'm finally doing my December haul. And this one was delayed because of, various things. I mentioned in my January buyer's guide about how I was very busy with work, but my haul was delayed because in particular I had one remaining order, just like this time, one remaining shipment from Rightstuf, which was containing two of my bigger orders for the month, and so I wanted to wait for those to arrive before I actually filmed this video. Anyway, enough talking. Let's go ahead and get on into it. I'm going to start off by showing all the new releases that I picked up throughout the month of December, and then we'll get into some of the older releases that I picked up, mostly as part of the Rightstuf anime holiday sales, and also stuff that I picked up when we were on vacation out in New York towards the end of the month, right before Christmas. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in. Alright, so going publisher by publisher, this first stack, I'm starting off with my one new release from Dark Horse, and that is the 11th Omnibus edition of Gantz. I believe there's just 12 is going to be the last one. I think it's a 4-in-1 volume, so we're almost done with these Omnibus editions of Gantz. I've probably said it on here a few times, but my hope is that eventually they'll announce a hardcover release for Gantz, and that would be great. It'd basically just be the same as the paperback omnibus, but larger. But if it doesn't happen, then at least we have the paperback omnis. If you are not aware, for me, I have a history with Gantz. This is the third time that I'd owned it. I bought it originally when it came out in single volumes. I sold it and bought the omnis for like the first 4 or 5, and then I sold that because I was convinced that we were going to get hardcovers for it, and then now I've bought it again because I'm like, well, I think that we will, there's a possibility that we will, but I don't want to count on it and miss out on it and have these go out of print and not be available at all, and then me not have Gantz in my collection whatsoever. Anyway, so that's the story with that. I've got 2 books from Square Enix, The Apothecary Diaries Volume 7, 7 for this one, and then The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses Volume 1. So this is obviously a new series that came out. I haven't yet read Apothecary Diaries, but I bought the series in November. I think I caught up 1 through 6. And then this one is a newer, like, romantic comedy type thing. Students in school, the boy likes a girl, and he thinks that she's really cute, and even cuter when she forgets her glasses and she has to squint at everything because she has terrible eyesight, and somehow she is constantly forgetting her glasses or losing them or whatever, and so she's constantly having to have him help her out at school and stuff like that. So that's the kind of the setup for that story. It was cute. It was a cute first volume. I'll continue reading it. Then we have Volume 2 of Adam the Beginning. This from Titan Books is a before Astro Boy type story where it follows those who like created Astro Boy when they were younger and doing other things. So first volume was pretty interesting. I haven't read the second volume yet. I'll get to it pretty soon though. Then from Starfruit Books, and this was actually sent to me by the publisher, is Not All Girls Are Stupid. This one is kind of graphic memoirs of sexual experiences of young women, of young adult women. So this is, it does on the back, it says contains nudity and sexual situations intended for mature readers. Reader discretion is advised. I take that seriously with the content that's in here. But because of that, they actually can't have this sold on Rightstuf because Rightstuf mostly ignores graphic content. Matt from Starfruit has pointed out the fact that they do have some series with a lot of graphic content, maybe even more so than this, that they still publish, but they were, at least last I heard, they were not carrying this. So if you are interested in this Josei single volume series, you can pick it up from Starfruit Books website itself. Next we have a few books from Denpa. We've got the final volume, Volume 9 of Inside Mari by Shuzo Oshimi. This one we've been waiting on for a little while. Like many things with Denpa, this was getting delayed and stuff, but this one's special mostly because it is a final volume from for that Shuzo Oshimi series. On that note, I want to say my goal is that either late this month or early in March, I'm going to do a video about Shuzo Oshimi, like creator spotlight type video like I've done in the past for other creators. I'm just waiting on Sweet Poolside to come out because I think that beyond Sweet Poolside we don't have any other of his series announced to be being released in English just yet. So there are only a couple more things of his coming out or that haven't been released in English yet, but once that comes out, we'll have everything that's announced so far. I figured that's a great time to jump in and make a video about him. And speaking of delayed books, Under Ninja, which was delayed by over a year, this is from the same creator as I Am a Hero, so finally have this one out. That's very exciting. And then Guyabano Holiday by Panpanya, the creator of Invitation from a Crab. If you're familiar with that one, then you might want to pick this one up. It's just a single volume book about I believe it is about the creator actually taking vacations in like the Philippines and stuff, and various things that happened to them during that time, including looking for the Guyabano fruit, which we mostly know in English as the soursop. And then I've got a few from Yen Press. I do have a few more from Yen Press because they do send me new volume 1s, but I don't have that in my haul. But the 3 that I have from Yen Press here, Run on Your New Legs, Volume 3, fantastic series about a guy who was a runner who lost one of his legs, and now he's using a running blade. He was using his normal prosthetic, and he couldn't do anything active really well, and finally he got someone to make him a running blade, and now he's learning how to run all over again on his new legs. And then we've got volumes 2 of Tales of the Kingdom and Kowloon Generic Romance. I have not read these second volumes just yet, but the first volumes of each were fantastic. I'll be reading both of these relatively soon, though. Next up, I only have one series from Udon Entertainment, but it is all 6 hardcover volumes of Summertime Rendering. These were released earlier throughout 2022 in paperback, but the hardcovers were delayed because of production issues, and so they finally came out in December. And I'm very happy to finally be able to grab them. I prefer hardcover over paperback, so I was holding out on these. Of course, it was great because then I got to be lazy and not buy 3 at 1 and then have to add 3, double-sized hardcovers or double-sized paperbacks into my read pile. But my laziness and setting that off, pushing it, means that now I have a full 6-volume series of double-sized volumes added to my read pile. The anime, somewhat recently, I think also in December, or maybe in January, was put onto Hulu. So if you want to check the story out itself, or if you have a Hulu account. All right, next we got a decent sized little stack of new releases from 7 Seas. So let's go ahead and jump on in. First up, volume 15, the second to last volume of Saint Seiya Saintia Show. This is the spin-off of Knights of the Zodiac, the only spin-off of Knights of the Zodiac that is published or has been published in English. Volume 16 also came out recently, so I'll have that in my January haul a little bit later this month. Final volume of Gigant by the same creator as Gantz and Inuyashiki, Hiroya Oku. Am I saying his name? Yeah, Hiroya Oku. I couldn't remember the vowels of his name in my head for a second there. This is the final volume of this series of his. Then we've got Yuna and the Haunted Hot Springs, Volume 22. I think there's 2, maybe 3 more. I can't remember if this one ends with 24 or 25 volumes, but it's almost done. Kageki Shoujo, Volume 7. Then we've got another final volume, Darling in the Franxx 2-in-1, Volume 4. So this contains... Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. This is Volume 2, but Volume 4 did come out and I did pick it up. Containing volumes 7 and 8 of the Darling in the Franxx manga adaptation, volume 2 of Dungeon People, volume 3 of Kimono Jihen. This one's a lot of fun if you haven't tried it out yet. Night of the Living Cat, volume 2, Candy and Cigarettes, volume 2, and finally Colorless, volume 3. And this is the one that has it's, you know, a normal black and white manga, but there's a little bit of color that's sprinkled in throughout the story. And then we have some oversized volumes. This is a single volume release, Our Torsos Align. This one's a weird one. It's a human beast like romance thing where every chapter is a different romance between a human and a different type of monster or whatever. And it has torso monsters in there. Like everything else is stuff that's pretty common, I guess, for monsters as far as like the types of monsters go. But then there's these torso monsters, and it's literally like they're a torso with wings and a head. They don't have arms and legs, and it's really weird. But I mean, you know what? It was fine. It was a decent little book. Had some really great artwork for sure, though. Next up, a manhwa, we have the second volume of Killing Stalking. This one, I really enjoyed the first volume. I haven't gotten a chance to read the second one just yet. This one's a little explicit. Asumi-chan is interested in lesbian brothels. I thought the plot to this one sounded really funny. I still haven't gotten to check. There's a lot of stuff in this haul that I haven't gotten to check out yet, that I haven't gotten to read yet because my January was so incredibly busy. I like literally did not have a moment to sit down and read any of my books until a few days ago, and I like did not feel like myself. I felt so like detached from who I am, and I finally, like, it was this past Sunday, and I sat down and read 8 books, and I was like, good, this is re-energizing, rejuvenating. It made me feel like myself. So I haven't read this one. I've been holding up this booby book for a second. I haven't read it yet, but I thought the plot sounded really funny, so I'm gonna read it soon to check it out, see if I want to continue with it. You know, if I wind up picking up volume 2 later on, you'll know that I decided to keep going. And then another first volume. This is a 2-in-1 of Les Miserables. This is a manga adaptation of the Victor Hugo novel of the same name that you're maybe familiar with through either the novel or the play or film adaptation. But this has artwork done by the same artist that did, what's it called, Cirque du Freak, the Darren Shan manga adaptation thing that was in Weekly Shonen Sunday. I think this was published in Monthly Sunday though. So this is going to be 4 2-in-1 volumes collecting the entirety of this one. Also, if I'm tired, like if I seem tired, if I yawn at any point in this, I'm really sorry, but I'm filming this at like 3 in the morning because I didn't have another time that I could do this. All right, let's get into Kodansha new releases. So first up, we've got one of my favorite ongoing series, Blood on the Tracks, Volume 12. This is the end of like part 1, the end of the, he called it at one point like the prologue to the series. So Volume 13 is where the real story begins, which is kind of ridiculous to say, but yeah, this does end kind of the story of what's going on during the childhood of the main character with all this stuff. And I literally just read that a few hours ago, and it continues to be as wild as Blood on the Tracks tends to do. Eden Zero, Volume 20 from the creator of Rave Master, Lovesick Ellie, Volume 7, Orient, Volume 12 from the creator of Magi, Go-Go Loser Ranger or Ranger Reject, Volume 2 from the creator of Quintessential Quintuplets. The first volume was really fun. I haven't read the second volume yet, but I really enjoyed that, and I don't know if I'm just biased because I really like, you know, I grew up with Sentai, like Power Rangers and stuff like that, so maybe that's why I like it, but I thought it was good. Blue Lock Volume 4, this one has been fantastic. I have not been watching the anime adaptation, but I've been really enjoying reading the manga. Shangri-La Frontier Volume 3, this one's been okay so far. I don't know how much longer I'm going to continue with it. Usually by 3 or 4 volumes in is when I decide yes or no on this stuff. Sayonara Football, Farewell My Dear Kramer Volume 14. I've been churning some out for this one lately because I think 15 came out immediately thereafter, and that's in my January haul. Number 6, Omnibus Volume 1. This is first of 3 omnibus editions for that sci-fi shoujo title. And then Die Wergelder Volume 3 from Kodansha was delayed. This is the same creator as Wave Listen to Me, or more likely know somewhere from Blade of the Immortal, but this is like a grindhouse film inspired story of revenge, and the 3rd volume has been delayed and coming out for years, mainly because the series in Japan takes so long to come out, and so they're waiting for the content. But it's been like 4, maybe 5 years since the 2nd omnibus edition came out in English, but we finally got it, and the series is not done yet. People think that it is. I thought that it was. I thought that the 3rd one was going to be the last one, because you go online and there's people who act like the series is done, but there's a to be continued at the end. And then the big one from Kodansha, as far as new releases go from this time, was Sweat and Soap box set 1 of 2, containing the first 6 volumes, as well as, and this is the thing that I know everyone wants to know, as well as the smelly stickers. They're not scratch and sniff, they smell. And the question on everyone's mind, the question that I raised whenever I mentioned this in the buyer's guide for for December, was, do they smell like sweat or do they smell like soap? And they smell like both. This is the soap sheet. These smell like soap, like floral and stuff, and this is the sweat sheet. These smell kind of musky. Not bad, just a little musky. So that's everything from Kodansha. Let me put these back in here and then we'll grab the next stack. Alright, so Viz Media definitely won as far as the most volumes of my new releases this month. And this is just the first of 2 stacks. So let's go through these. We're going to start off with the Shonen Jump books. Volume 5 of Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible. Volume 24 of Dr. Stone. I think either 25 or 26 is the last volume of this one, so we're real close to the end. 10 of Moriarty the Patriot. The Tatsuki Fujimoto Before Chainsaw Man, 17 to 21. This is a collection of 4 of his one-shot manga that he published starting when he was 17 years old and then going through when he was 21. There's one more of these volumes coming out that have more of his one-shots. It's coming out pretty soon. Dandadan Volume 2, Undead Unluck Volume 10, Seraph of the End Vampire Reign 26, Mashal Magic and Muscles Volume 10, Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 18, the Jujutsu Kaisen light novel titled Summer of Ashes, Autumn of Dust. I'm really not good with reading light novels and stuff without pictures, but I'm gonna try. I'm like really gonna try on some of these because they're doing so many light novels in relation to series that I really like now. So I promise I'm gonna try. The Hunters Guild Red Hood Volume 1. This is one of, 3 of that series that got canceled. From Weekly Shonen Jump, Sakamoto Days Volume 5, Mission Yozakura Family Volume 2, Elusive Samurai Volume 4, Kaiju Number 8 Volume 5, and Blue Box Volume 2. I know that all of these were in orders that I ordered throughout December. I don't know if they were all officially released in December, because that's a lot of Shonen Jump stuff for a single month, but that, according to all of my orders, I went through every single order from every different, Rightstuf and other websites and like whatever, and all of these were in my December orders. So anyway, and then for Shoujo Beat, we've got Queen's Quality Volume 16, Prince Freya Volume 8, Yona of the Dawn 15. Actually, this was not a new release, but it snuck in anyway. I just need Volume 7, and then I'll have all of Yona of the Dawn. And My Love Mix-Up Volume 6. So now let's move to the second stack from Viz Media, and that'll wrap up, it'll almost wrap up the new releases. All right, the second stack from Viz Media, just as tall as the first one. First up from Shonen Sunday, we have a few things. Mao Volume 9. Then we have new series for the Shonen Sunday line, Helk. I haven't gotten to check out the first volume yet, but it looks really great. Very excited. Frieren Beyond Journey's End Volume 7. Amazing series. If you haven't checked it out yet, please do. The anime is coming soon. Check it out before that comes out. If you like fantasy, you're gonna love Frieren. Yashahime, Princess Half Demon, Volume 2. This, of course, is the sequel series to Rumiko Takahashi's legendary shonen Inuyasha. Komi Can't Communicate, Volume 22. I'm a little behind on Komi. I literally was, including this one, 4 volumes behind, and I read 2 of them last night, so I'm getting back up to snuff with Komi. I don't know how I fell so far behind on it, I just wasn't reading those volumes. Call of the Night, Volume 10, and everyone's favorite long-running detective series, Case Closed, Volume 85. Now, for the Viz signature line, we have No Guns Life, Volume 13. For the life of me, I thought 12 was the last one, and then I saw the solicit for Volume 13 saying that it was the last one. I was like, oh, there's one more coming out. Okay. Another final volume is Beastars. This one I knew was the last volume, and I've been anticipating it. I really loved it. I was happy to be able to read the ending, sad to see it go, but we do still have Beast Complex running. So if you love Beastars, make sure that you're picking up Beast Complex as those volumes come out. Volume 2 comes out pretty soon, I believe. Record of Ragnarok, Volume 5. If you are keeping up with the anime on Netflix, Volume 5 goes into the beginning of the first fight in the second season, or at least the first part of the second season. I think the second season is going to be more than just the 10 episodes that they dropped. But anyway, so we've covered all the material that was in the first season. Volume 4 of Alice in Borderland, so we're about at the halfway point, because I think it's going to be 9 total volumes for that one. Here's another final volume, Maison Koku, the collector's editions of this Rumiko Takahashi classic romance series. I still need to finish this one off, but huge fan of Takahashi. I was glad to be able to get this one and in such nice new editions. Then we've got the third of 4 volumes of Kazuo Umeza's Orochi, and of course this is wrapping up soon with its 4th volume, and we will be getting re-releases of Cat Eye Boy, I think in hardcover also, to match with this and Drifting Classroom. So hopefully beyond Cat Eye Boy they keep doing more Kazuo Umez work, because I really, really like his stuff. Another hardcover, Fist of the North Star Volume 7. This is 7 out of like 17, 18 or so total. And then the second volume of Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe, the spin-off for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This is not the end of this spin-off, but I believe it'll be a while before we get a 3rd volume, because he's releasing the content that would be in the 3rd volume. So if you're not familiar, this follows the character from Part 4, Rohan Kishibe, on various adventures unrelated to what happens in the main series, just his own little adventures. And Araki has been continuing to release more chapters of this. There just hasn't been, as far as I can recall off the top of my head, he's not yet released enough material to cover a 3rd volume. So it'll be a little while before we get it, but this is not the last volume, is basically what I'm trying to say. And then we've got a couple more. This is the end of the new release stuff, a couple of art books that I wanted to show. First up, the 3rd Color Walk Compendium from One Piece. These are huge and beautiful and show a ton of colored artwork from the manga. This goes from New World to Wano, so with that, it's going to be a while before we get the 4th one. I want to hazard to guess that the 4th one will probably be the last one. And then from Kodansha, Studio Ghibli, The Complete Works, and it is pronounced Ghibli, not Ghibli. I'm not trying to say that to be a jerk, but I know that people in the comments like to correct pronunciation on stuff, but I know that I'm right on that one. If you look up like the way that it's pronounced online, it is Ghibli, and so it's pronounced Ghibli. So just a lot of information about various movies from throughout the past several decades of material that came out from Hayao Miyazaki and from Studio Ghibli. So that's everything for new releases. Now let's get into the older releases, and I've got quite a bit of them, so I can already tell this is going to be a little bit of a lengthy video. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at some older releases that I got throughout the month of December. A lot of these were because of the sales going on during the holidays over at Rightstuf, but I also have stuff that I picked up because I was on vacation in New York. And we're going to start with a stack of books that's all stuff from various publishers that I picked up in New York. So we went to Kinokuniya, Book Off, The Strand, and a couple of comic shops. And here's what I got at various places. I found a couple volumes of Land of the Blindfolded, an old CMX manga over at Book Off. These can be pretty hard to find, and so if I find them in the wild for cheap, and these were $5 each, then I tend to jump on them. From The Strand, I got this Frontier line. This is from the same creator as Gray, which was published by Viz Media back in like the 90s in the big single issue versions, and then they re-released it in graphic novel format. But this one is a sci-fi story. I'm trying to get a glare on these, a little bit of a glare, but we'll cover that since Frontier line is not a very popular one. I'd never heard of it before I found this, so it was $10 over at the Strand, so I was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and grab that. From a comic shop, I picked up a Joe Taniguchi book that I realized I did not have. This is Skyhawk. If you've never read anything by Jiro Taniguchi, I highly recommend it. He's a very talented artist. He's not always the writer on the books that he does, but either way, great artwork. From that same shop, I picked up this book about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Manga's Refined Oddball from Third Editions is the publisher of this. You might be familiar with them from the Berserk book that they put out that has like the skull knight face on it. With Darkness Inc. is what it's called. It's basically an informational book, a book that someone has written about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I haven't read this or cracked into it really at all yet, but it looks really interesting to see someone, talking about these things and relating them back to, other media and references that might be thrown in there. Just stuff about the processes of creating the series. Anyway, moving on, from Junko Mizuno, I got Pure Trance. This one I also got from, I believe, from The Strand. Junko Mizuno is a fantastic creator with really interesting artwork, and I've got a couple other books of hers, but this is one that I didn't yet have, so I went ahead and grabbed it when I saw it on sale over there. Then from Kinokuniya, I grabbed a few things. First up, a couple issues, I should say, of Weekly Shonen Jump. These are two of the more recent issues that have the first chapters of a couple of the newer series. I grabbed them because I thought it'd be fun to have some of these, first chapter issues. So that way, if one of these newer series winds up really blowing up and taking off, I can have, the first magazine that they were published in. And then a JoJo's magazine that I didn't yet have. I have most JoJo related magazines and art books, not like issues of Weekly and Ultra Jump, but like supplemental books like this. I didn't yet have this one. It's an anime related one that has a lot of just processes and whatnot, drawings from the creation of the first few seasons of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure anime. Well, the first 2 seasons that covered the first 3 parts. Anyway, those were all from my trip in New York during the end of December. Then we've got some stuff from the Rightstuf holiday sales. First up, this is kind of just a throw in, Worst Volume 1. This was from DMP, Digital Manga Publishing. They're mostly known at this point for doing Osamu Tezuka work, but this was like $1 or something during the sales, so I saw it, I was like, yeah, I'll throw it in there. Even though it was a series that was discontinued after I leave like 3 volumes, it was much longer than that, but it was only able to make it to 3. And then we've got The Great Jahi Will Not Be Defeated. This is from Square Enix. This one I had been recommended by a friend who said it was pretty funny, so since they had it on sale and it was only 4 volumes thus far, I decided to go ahead and check it out. Haven't been able to start reading it, haven't been able to make up my mind whether, it was worth grabbing or not, but whenever friends recommend stuff to me, I tend to try and pick it up, especially if it goes on sale. Then from 7 Seas, I've got a couple series. First up is the first 4 volumes here of Creepy Cat by Cotton Valence. This one was recommended by whenever I was on the Best and Worst Manga of 2022 panel over the summer at San Diego Comic-Con. One of the other panelists, Jillian, one of her favorites for the year was Creepy Cat, and so I was like, alright, I'll pick it up if it goes on sale. It went on sale finally at the end of the year. I went ahead and grabbed all the volumes of that one. This one is really gorgeous full color artwork, so if you've never seen Creepy Cat before, it's a very nicely illustrated book. Then another one, the same friend who recommended Jackie to me, actually my friend Gio, who I do on Thursday nights on my other channel, the Omnibus Collectors Network. Gio and I get together and do like manga talk. We talk about different news and things we've been reading. And every other Thursday we're joined by our friend Colleen from Colleen's Manga Recommendations. And so at some point Gio was recommending, I don't remember what we were talking about, but Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out came up, and he was like, oh, it's a really funny series, like talking about some of the jokes and some of the things that happen in the anime. And I forget exactly what circumstance he talked about, like what scene he talked about, but whatever it was, it made me want to check it out, and it went on sale, so I picked it up. They had all but volumes 1 and 7, so that was volume 2. Here's volume 3, volume 4, 5, 6, and then I found 7 at Kinokuniya while I was in New York, and volume 8, so I just need to find volume 1 of that series. Alright, let's move on to the next stack. Okay, next up we've got some stuff from Yen Press and from Viz Media. The first 2 from Yen Press are volumes 3 and 4 of Jack Frost, the Manhwa series. I think I have 2 more volumes of this that I found from another comic shop. These were at Book Off, again from the trip in New York. I'm not really trying very hard to find these volumes. When I find them in the wild, because I know that a lot of them are pretty expensive online, I go ahead and grab them. But I have 3 and 4, and I think the other ones I have are like maybe 7 and 9. And then the rest of my stack from Yen Press is another series that was recommended to me by a few people. I've seen tons of people talk about it, tons of people talk about how great it is, and that is the case study of Vanitas. This is volume 1. This was also on sale, of course, during the holidays, volume 2. And so after seeing it talked about and recommended so much, when I saw it was on sale, I decided that I had to get it. These covers are absolutely gorgeous. Every single one, just really beautifully painted colored artwork for the covers here. There are 8 volumes currently out. I do not know exactly when volume 9 comes out, and I haven't looked into it enough to know how long the series is, if it's done, if we're caught up with the Japanese release or not, but there's volumes 1 through 8 of the case study of Vanitas. Now we have a bunch of stuff from Viz Media, and for the most part, these are either reprints of things that I've been collecting or volumes that I've found in the wild for series that I've been collecting. So first up, the biggest part of this one is Kami-sama Kiss. They've been steadily putting out reprint volumes, and December was a big month for Kami-sama Kiss. So here's volume 4, 5, 6, 7, 16, 17, 18, I believe 19 also came out, but I missed it. So I still need volume 19. 20, well here's 22 and 21, those were out of order. But with that, and then the few that I picked up that are in my January haul, or that will be in my January haul, I think I'm only missing like maybe 3 or 4 volumes in total. And another one that I'm almost done with, Nana, we got volumes 8 and 17 this time. I think maybe 1 volume in my haul for January, and then beyond that, I think there's just 2 more volumes of Nana that I need. Then these, I found all of these yeah, every single one of these I found at Book Off, and I was very excited to. Wait, no, this one, the first one I found at the Strand bookstore in New York, and that is Skip Beat Volume 13. Of course, this long-running shoujo beat title that I've collected most of. I've collected some of it in the 3-in-1 volumes, some of it in singles, or most of it in singles. And here's Volume 13. Beyond this, there's just 2 more that I need. One is going to be in my January haul. The other one is still outstanding. I think Volume 11 is the last one that I need to find. So hopefully either it gets reprinted or I can find a copy for cheap somewhere. Then we've got Volume 6 of Library Wars. This one was from Book Off. There's still like 4 volumes of Library Wars I need to find. Especially the early volumes, are kind of ridiculously hard to get. This one I was looking for forever and finally found a copy of My Love Story Volume 13 at Book Off. I love this series. I watched the anime, like the first several episodes back when it was first airing, and thought it was hilarious. And then recently, like sometime in the middle of last year, I got the Blu-ray set and I watched the whole thing. It was on sale from Sentai, and so I watched the whole thing and I absolutely loved it. So I'm happy to finally have tracked down this volume. I needed 12 and 13. I found 13, and spoiler for next month's haul, 12 got reprinted, and so I also have that. So I completed the series. And then this one was a really fun find from Book Off, and that is X by Clamp. This is the 4th of the 3-in-1 editions. I think I need 1 more of these to complete the set, but I was very excited to find they had this at Book Off, because this one in particular, they had it selling for, I think, below cover price, a couple dollars below cover price, and online it's not a couple dollars below cover price. I can't speak right now. This is the second to last stack. It is a tall one. This is everything older releases I picked up from Kodansha, and all of these were part of the Rightstuf holiday sales. So on the top here, let me pull this smaller stack off the big stack, is a series that was recommended to me very, very, very heavily by my friend Stuf, Baker Girl Steph on YouTube, Steph Lafayette on TikTok, but this is a series that she really loves, and she recommended me to pick up Something's Wrong with Us since it was on sale. And again, like I said before, friends recommend me stuff, I pay attention. I hope they do the same when I recommend stuff. The problem is that usually when I recommend something, it's like slam dunk, and it hasn't been hard. It's been very hard to get slam dunk until now, and when the reprints dropped, it's not like everyone had the money to grab 30 volumes of slam dunk at once. But anyway, I pick up stuff that my friends recommend me. Here's volume 2 of this one. Volume 3. This one is still ongoing. They had every volume available, and all of them were on sale except for the most recent one. So I did pay non-sale price, which is fine. It's like, $1 or something difference. I don't remember exactly how much these are cheaper when they're on sale. Here's volume 8, volume 9, 10, and it was either, I thought there was only 11. There's 12 volumes total right now, and I don't remember, I know volumes 1 through 10 should have all been on sale. I don't remember if it was 11 and 12 or just 12 that was unavailable, because this one's a new release. This one came out like December or January or whatever. So there's the 12 volumes of Something Is Wrong with Us. And then we've got a couple things from hardcover releases. The first one is one that I know is going to be is a little controversial with people, because I know it's a weird plot, it's a really weird series, but it's something that I grew up with, and that is Chobits. And I have a story to tell about Chobits to kind of explain my relationship with this series. This is by Clamp, of course. This was originally released in English by Tokyopop. I believe that's the first time it got released. It's a popular seinen series, had anime adaptation and everything. Back when it was being released by Tokyopop, it was recommended to me by a friend. I was the same way back when I was 12 years old. I listened to my friend's recommendations. And he recommended it to me. I don't remember if he had read the manga or just watched the anime, but he was like, you gotta, check this one out. And I would listen to my friends' recommendations because mostly it would be when I was shopping at Borders. And if you remember Borders, you do. If you don't, then you don't. But Borders used to have all kinds of sales, and they would almost always have either a buy 3 get 1 or buy 2 get 1. And sometimes there would only be 2 or 3 books at Borders that I wanted, or maybe there were 7 and I needed that 8th to finish the second buy 3 get 1, something like that. And so I would take recommendations from friends of series that I should pick up, and Chobits was one that he told me to pick up. And so I picked it up, the first volume, and I read it, and I really liked it. I was 12 at the time. I probably shouldn't have been reading it as a 12-year-old, but I did, and I enjoyed it. It was definitely different from most things that I was reading at the time, because most of the things I was reading was like typical shonen manga. But I really liked it, and so I read it. I read all 8 volumes, and then skip forward several years. I had a party at my house when I was in high school, and it was not it was a parent sanctioned party. My parents knew. They didn't help me host or anything, but they knew that I was having a bunch of people over. And so it was like beyond just my normal friend group, a bunch of people from my class were there, and someone invited a guy that was no longer at our school, but they were still friends with him. And they were like, hey, can we have so and so come over? I was like, yeah, that's cool. And so he comes over and he's, hanging out in my room, and he's like, hey, can I check out some of your manga? And back when I was in high school, I had, I think, in my room 2 or 3 full Billy bookcases. So I had a decent sized collection when I was younger. And he's like, hey, I want to check out some of your manga. I was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. So he's sitting in my room. I had a really nice, big armchair in there to read on. It was really comfortable. And he's like, can I check out Chobits? And I was like, yeah, go ahead. So he starts checking it out, flipping through the volumes, reading some of it, and he pulls all 8 off the shelf, and I don't really pay attention. I leave and go do whatever, we're probably playing Guitar Hero or Rock Band or something, and I come back and he's gone. And he left with my Chobits books, and I never saw them again. So it's the weirdest thing ever to have someone, steal your books. So random, and it wasn't even something that was hard to get at the time. And they re-released it. I think Dark Horse re-released it across 2 4-in-1 volumes, and I passed on those. And then I don't remember exactly when, 2-3 years ago or whatever, Kodansha finally released it in hardcover, and so I obviously passed on those until now, but I finally got them, and I was like, you know what? This is nostalgia for me, and I'm excited to add it back into my collection. Anyway, there's the Chobits story. I've told that to friends and stuff to let them know about that. I think this is the first time I actually told the story on my channel. Now, another Clamp series, and this one is out of order, so I apologize. Actually, I could just do this, and that puts it in order. Okay, so another one, we have Cardcaptor Sakura. This is a classic shoujo fantasy action type series. This one, I did actually have the first 3 hardcovers from when they first were coming out, and then I sold them because I couldn't keep up with them at the time, and since they went on sale during the holidays, I decided to finally pick them up again. There are 9 total of these hardcovers collecting the original Cardcaptor Sakura manga, and they come with these little cloud cards that connect to, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't reopened these, or opened these since I repurchased, but if I'm not mistaken, the cloud cards connect into a single image. So that's pretty fun. So this is the entirety in 9 volumes of the classic series, and then they haven't re-released the more recent one, Clear Card. I'm hoping that they'll do it in a hardcover format just to match with this one on the shelf, because I think these are really particularly good looking on the shelf. They have nice kind of gilded stuff on the spine that's on the covers and stuff as well. It's nice and shiny. Just a very nice looking, I use the word nice way too much to describe this, but it is very nice looking. So all 9 volumes of that. Now moving on to the last stack, the end of the haul for December. Okay, so now we get to the Dark Horse stack, and this stack is even taller than that one. I just had to put it into 2 parts. So Dark Horse has been doing a lot of reprints lately, and that's really exciting if you've missed out on some of these things that they've done. But let me go ahead and jump in and start talking about some of these reprints. So first up, I decided to finally get the all-in-one omnibus edition of the Furikuri manga. Furikuri is my favorite anime of all time, the original series, and I've had the manga literally since Tokyo Pop released it. I have the 2-volume edition, but I never picked up the all-in-one that was released more recently by Dark Horse, and it was on sale, so I decided to go ahead and actually no, it wasn't on sale. It became available again after being unavailable for a short while, and so I decided to go ahead and jump on it because I don't know, I can compare it to the Tokyo Pop one. I like the way that it looks, and I'm a huge fan of Furikuri. Like, I have the manga, tons of like t-shirts and merch. I've got the albums on vinyl. I've got like, so this is something where I'm gonna just like overspend on it basically for no reason. You can judge me if you want, I don't care. I love Furikuri. Now, this one is really exciting. So with Dark Horse, what has happened, and I don't know if I've talked about it on this channel, I'm just noticing some damage on all the books though. Oh well, that's unfortunate. Dark Horse had been bought out by a couple of companies, and it was basically, if you notice that they were not doing as much as they typically would over the past few years, it's because they were in between kind of being bought and sold by companies. And when that happened, they kind of, I'm simplifying some of the stuff, but they kind of put everything on the back burner. And if you pay attention not just to Dark Horse manga, but also Dark Horse comics, they were kind of hemorrhaging a lot of licenses for different reasons. Like with Fox being bought out by Disney, a lot of different licenses wound up leaving Dark Horse and moving over to Marvel. Stuff like Aliens, Predator, stuff like that. They lost the Buffy license even before that to Boom Studios. And then like Eric Powell, who does the Goon series, left Dark Horse to go make his own publisher, and then Stan Sakai from the Usagi Yojimbo series left Dark Horse. He'd been with them for a very long time and went over to IDW. Dark Horse last year, I believe early last year or late 2021, I don't remember exactly when, got bought out by Embracer Group. Embracer Group is the new name for a company that used to be THQ Nordic, the THQ video games and stuff. THQ Nordic has money and started putting money back into the publisher, and so they were able to start putting money into a lot of other projects. We've seen on the comics side they got Eric Powell and Stan Sakai back, and they will be continuing to publish stuff from both of them. And on the manga side, they've started to do a lot of reprints. You probably have been, privy of some of the reprints. The entirety of the Gantz line got reprinted in the omnibus editions. The omnibus editions for Lone Wolf and Cub got reprinted. Volumes 11 and 12 are coming out, I think, next month, like in March, is when they're set to be available. So that entire 12-volume omnibus series is going to be back available in print. And they're also even reprinting the gallery edition of the big, massive artist edition hardcover for Lone Wolf and Cub. On top of these reprints, another thing that they did was resurrect certain lines that had been abandoned, like the omnibus editions for Kurosagi Corpse Delivery Service. And another one that they brought back is Oh My Goddess. And this was a more recent announcement. They were going to be reprinting Oh My Goddess in omnibus editions. And so the first 3 are currently available. They became available back in December, and they are still currently available to buy on Rightstuf. And not only are they reprinting the 6 volumes that had been previously published, but they also announced that they were going to be continuing the line and printing volume 7, which is up for pre-order on Rightstuf right now. So we're still waiting on the reprints for volumes 4, 5, and 6, but 1 through 3 and the pre-order for 7 are available. Now this is a pretty long series. It lasted for 48 volumes, so that means it's going to be 16 total 3-in-1s. So it's going to take a little while for us to get the whole thing, but the exciting part is that it is back. They have been slowly announcing a new license here and there as well, but they've been focusing more on reprints and continuing deadlines, like I've been talking about. And one of the new licenses that they got that was really exciting is Innocent. And that's going to be published, I think, in 2-in-1 volumes starting later this year. And then the last piece of everything that I picked up during the month of December, another Dark Horse reprint. Just getting these because they were upside down. Osamu Tezuka's Astro Boy. So these little tiny trim-sized omnibus editions, all 7 of them were put back into print. And I believe all 7 are still available to buy if you want to pick them up over on Rightstuf. This is the classic shonen adventure magazine about the robot boy named Astro, or Adam in the original Japanese. The only one available for the longest time was the first one, and finally they reprinted all of them, and so I went ahead and swept them all up. Early last year, early 2022, one of my first hauls was basically everything else I was able to get in one go, and something that was missing from that was Astro Boy because they only had the first volume, and I was like, I'm gonna wait and see if one of 2 things happens. Either A, they finally reprint them, which is what happened, or maybe they do the hardcover editions like they've been doing for some of the other series. Obviously the reprint happened, so I picked them up, and now I have this nice chunk of not just classic Tezuka, but of classic manga that was missing from my collection for so long. So with that, my voice is pretty shot. It is, I mentioned earlier that I started filming this at like 3 in the morning. It's about 4 now, so it's time for me to go get some rest. Thank you so much for watching this. Let me know what you picked up during the holidays. If you got anything during Rightstuf's holiday sale, please let me know in the comments below. If you watched through the whole thing, thank you so much. You are great. Thank you for being patient with me and waiting for this video to come out. I apologize, but February, I'm getting back on track. I've already got myself set up with the buyer's guide for February is ready to go. Not ready to go, I'm ready to film it, and my haul from January will be also be done this month, as well as some other cool things. So again, thanks for stopping by and spending time with me. I appreciate every one of you. Peace out.